bottom of your zipper, you better have everything in line. Your
That's right.
tie, your medals, your belt buckle. Everything had a place and everything in its place.
That's right.
And if you didn't pick that up quick, you got told and embarrassed.
I, this is gonna sound crazy. I've been out of the military for a number of years now, um, and I still, when I put my clothes on, I still put my belt in line with my gig
Yep,
line. I
I do,
still
and
do
I
it
do it
today.
too. I do it too.
Oh my
I've
gosh,
never gotten over that. Once I started, it was like, okay, well, that makes sense. And for
it
a
is
lady,
crazy.
that's tough because we wear the big belt buckles. We wear all these different kinds of belts. But if I'm wearing a normal belt, yeah, gig line goes. I gotta make it work.
Right, right. It's so nuts. Um, it's crazy that we still put our gig lines in in
It's
line
things you get
today.
used to. You just never change. And I'm still
Right,
very
that's so
adamant
true.
about, I like my bed made. Um, they're just habits that you pick up because they're so ingrained in you.
hmm That's right. That's why we train.
And I'll
Once you
admit,
get into it, it's
I
hard to
was Gomer
change.
Pyle. You know, I, Anybody who ever saw Goldie Hawn in the movie, I think it was called
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
New
What is
Recruit
that
or something.
called?
I can't remember the name of it, but Goldie Hawn was so perfect in that. Yeah,
Yes, she was.
and that was kind of me. I went in at 34, not really knowing what to expect, and I
Because
think
Goldie went in at an older age too, didn't she? In that
in
movie.
that particular movie, yeah, she was in
That's
her
right.
early 20s when she went in,
Holy cow,
and
that is too
it was
funny.
hilarious.
It was. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So you're in Virginia, and you're doing now. Were you living in Virginia at the time, or where
No,
were you training? Okay, so where were you at? Where were you living at the time?
okay, I was in Kansas City, Missouri. At the time, because I was still working for Western Auto's home office down on Grand,
Okay. Okay.
and my station was Brush Creek, which was on the far east side of Kansas City, but still on the Missouri line.
Okay, so for our listeners and for me to understand this, you are Navy Reserve. You're training out of Kansas, but if you were to get called up, you're going to Virginia.
Yes, I'll go to
Okay,
Norfolk.
great, great. I got to figure it
So,
out now. That now, did you ever go out there?
oh yeah, every year.
Okay, so did you do your 2 weeks a year out in Virginia?
Yes.
All right, now I've got to figure it out. And I was trying to figure logistically how did that work out, and that makes a lot of
hmm
sense now too.
I did
So when
my,
you trained,
yeah,
what did you guys do as far as training went? Your
okay,
weekends each month, and then your 2 weeks a year.
right. The training each month was a lot of class time and a lot of administrative work. So I would come in on the weekends and I would be catching up all the things that the regular admin would not be able to do, or the yeoman.
Okay. Okay.
So I was the cleanup kid on the weekend, basically, is what it amounted to. And
And that's probably typical of what our reserves do, right? They
yes,
just do what's not been done by the active duty component.
that is correct. And that
Okay.
goes for just about any chore that needs to be done. It's almost like the regular active duty members sort of get a day off.
But it's good though because you're doing the exact same thing as your active duty counterpart. So that's why we're so mission capable because
Yes,
all you're doing is falling in line doing the same thing that they are.
that is correct. But yet we do
Man.
not get the same credit. And
Right.
I hope that if I have anything to do with this before I pass, I want to make sure that a law somehow is passed for our military reservists where they receive, at the very least, their veteran medical benefits.
hmm I agree, and I think I would also like to see us work on the where they can get a VA identification card, all that good stuff, everything that comes
I carry
along.
my reservist card in my wallet to this day.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I'm proud of it.
Now, the you only get VA medical service if you were called up. That's correct, right?
You have to be called up for a minimum of 24 hours. That's all.
Okay.
One
Okay.
day of active duty will get you all of the military benefits.
Okay.
Unfortunately, because I was never called up to active duty and only was called for my reserve time, I never qualified for any of those benefits.
Right.
And I can
Right.
tell you now, as an older woman, I really wish I did because I'd really like I could use those benefits right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how do you think we can get involved in that, and what can we do to help progress that movement?
I don't know. I really am at a loss at how to even think about beginning to make this happen. It's too late for me, but I have a grandson that's at Weidman Air Force Base, and
Okay.
he's an active duty personnel. He's gonna get the good benefits.
Right.
But what about all those other people?
Well, I think it's not too late for you, and why I say that is it's because of you and carrying that charge we could do that. So the first place to start is with your congressperson. You start with your U.S. representative or U.S. senator, and that's where you start at. That's the easiest place to do it, and I think there would be a lot of appetite for that if we swayed it in the right, if we had the ability to give them the picture that we're trying to portray.
Well, what you're going to
So
have to do before any of that happens is you're going to have to get a petition that only reservists are signing, and then you need a petition that veterans with active duty time are signing in agreement with that
right,
petition.
yeah.
Because it's going to be really hard to ignore that if you get a couple of million signatures.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. And, I think specifically, so why are we talking about this? To me, it makes sense. If you're on a training for reserve training and you break a leg or you get hurt in that training, you're typically not going to get care at the VA, right?
No, no, you'd have to go see your regular doctor.
Right. So that's exactly what we've got to work for is to make sure that we change the laws so that we can take care of those men and women who've served
Right.
our country in a reserve capacity,
I feel like, as a reservist, I did everything that was asked of me. It was not my fault that I did not get advanced. I did pass. I passed
Right.
every exam that they gave me, but I could not get advanced because my rate was closed at 999.99, which means that a yeoman is not necessarily a primary need of the military.
Right. Yeah, and so our listeners understand too, you could not be promoted either unless somebody moved out of position that was in your unit there
That
in
is
your reserve
correct.
unit too, right?
That is
So if
correct.
you're sitting there as an E3 and there's an E5 slot, but there's somebody in that E5 slot, you can't move until they retire or move up.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
So our hands are
Um,
tied.
yeah, that's right.
So
That's right.
my theory is if I can't beat them, I'm going to find out how they're playing their game and I'm going to win. And as
there
it
you go.
turned out, that's how I ended up with my Accelerated Sailor of the Quarter. I got my Admiral's commendations because I made sure that I put myself in a place that people knew that I was important, that there was something that
That's
I
right.
could contribute.
Well, you are. We have just a couple minutes left on this podcast today, and Katie O'Neill's our guest on the Honor Across Arms podcast.
You're
Thanks so
missing
much for being here with
you're
us.
missing all the good stories.
Well, I know, dang, we got to get into it. So that just means you're going to
We
have to
have
be
to do it
a guest at
again.
another time, too. That's right. That's right.
I can do that.
So, Katie, I think about you. I think about all the reservists that are out there and just cannot say thank you enough because, you all allow the active duty the ability to, one, have days off, and then two, when we deploy, you're the ones that are filling those slots.
That is
So
correct.
thank you so much for your service to this country. Even though
Thank
your
you for
country doesn't
yours.
necessarily acknowledge it, I appreciate you.
I think our military appreciates our reservists, but they also kind of look at them tongue in cheek as sort of a toy soldier. It's like
Yeah,
we're the rent-a-cops of the military.
sure, sure.
I mean, you can have a police force, but if you have a security guard that drives around, they're part of the police force, but not really.
Right.
you know.
Well, I think there's a lot of active duty that views you all as a great asset. I know specifically I did because I also trained with some reservists that would come in and backfill our office. So they did some really great work on their weekends and their 2 weeks of the year. So I was really proud to have them because they took a little bit of a load off of me. So I
Absolutely.
think
That
it's
was our
just
job.
subjective. That's right. That's what it's all about. Katie, thanks so much for being our guest today here on the Honor Across Arms podcast, and we'd love to have you again if you'll have us.
Absolutely. I'll look forward to it.
Awesome. I'm Joshua Littrell signing off today, and Katie O'Neill's been our guest. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
Line over there. Send the word over there. That the Yanks are coming, the drums coming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come